Hello, in this video I have something new for you, specifically the Kamikaze class destroyer. I have this ship over on the Asian server, well, I have the Kamikaze R over on the Asian server, which is a ship given away recently for completing a whole bunch of missions in the Project R mission series. I've actually had this ship for a few days, but actually didn't notice it's been sitting in my port. And I only noticed when I went into a ranked battle and saw that there were Kamikaze Rs sitting in the battle against me. And I thought, well, I earned one of those ships. If people have got them, they must be in my port. And yes, it was. So I clicked the battle button, forgot to switch it to random battle. And so this is my first game in the Kamikaze. And it's in a ranked battle, which isn't ideal because this is a tier 5 Japanese destroyer. And ranked battles are tiers 5 and 6, so I am a bottom tier in this match. The Kamikaze class, it was a slight modification of the Kamikaze class destroyer, and by slight I mean it was very similar. The one big difference between this and the Kamikaze was that this had dual purpose main armament so that it could engage aircraft and surface ships. Unfortunately that hasn't come through to the game. So these main battery guns are basically the same as the Kamikazes, with two differences. The most important one is they have much better turret reverse time, which makes it a lot more effective at engaging surface targets with your guns. And the second is that on the Kamikaze, 2 of the guns face forward, 2 face backwards. In the Kamikaze, 3 face forwards and 1 face backwards, which in my opinion is actually not a good thing, just because in the destroyer I'm often running away from people I'm shooting at rather than going towards them. So it means that my forward facing guns have to swing through about 270 degrees, while my rearward facing ones have to go through about 20-30 degrees, while I am kind of weaving and running away from enemies. Other than that, the big difference between the only other difference I know between the Kamikaze and the Kamikaze is that the Kamikaze is slightly slower, I believe 1.5 knots slower, but it also gets slightly more hit points, so it's a little bit more resilient. Just for being a bit slower, it's not so good at just the positional gameplay that the Kamikaze, and it's a bit hard to get into the right position to launch torpedo attacks. But with your extra hit points and with your slightly better guns, it's better at using your guns basically to kill enemy destroyers. So anyway, my team was going to A, I decided to go to B just to see if I could capture it. And the only enemy ship that came to B was this Mitsuki in front of me, which is hanging outside the cap circle and firing torpedoes in. So I'm able to capture the area without any real opposition. Unfortunately, the whole enemy team's gone to A as well, and my team didn't push into the cap circle. Well, that's probably the right decision in this situation. There were 2 enemy destroyers that pushed into the A cap circle, whereas the other destroyer on my team's actually AFK and is still sitting way back at the start. So I probably wouldn't want to charge in, without destroyer support in this kind of fight. Now I decided to ignore the Mitsuki and move into a position where I can launch torpedo attacks on the enemy battleships. And the battleships in this match, they both had an annoying way of dodging torpedo attacks, which is they seem to just put their ship in reverse for a little while, stop, put their ship into forward, full speed ahead for a little while, then stop, reverse again, which made it really hard to predict what they were going to do. It also made them completely ineffective because they were basically just sitting in one space the whole time, but I didn't get all that many torpedoes on target here. I fired my first broadside off at that enemy battleship. I believe it's a Congo. And I should also mention that this is my first game in the Kamikaze. I don't have my situational awareness skill. So I kind of just have to remember that I've got about a 6 kilometer detection radius. And just have to be aware of that. And there are a few points where I push my luck a bit because I forget that just because my situational awareness hasn't gone off, doesn't mean I'm not spotted. I'll also mention that the camouflage that comes with the ship, since it is a premium ship, premium mission reward ship, whatever, it gives you the -3 to detection range, the same as Type 1 camouflage, except you don't have to pay for it, It also gives you 30% bonus to experience, which is very good for crew training in particular. So I fired another broadside off that Congo, fired one of my guns. As I said, the rearward facing gun, because I was running away, got on target much quicker than my forward facing guns. So I sent one shell off towards the target. And well, it looks like it's slowing down, or maybe it's not. Well, actually, my torpedoes look pretty good here. I'm hanging just outside my detection range. Or maybe I'm getting a bit close now. Oh well, got one torpedo hit, fired off a broadside. Take a pretty big hit from the Congo, but as I said, I wasn't really paying attention to my range. I was just kind of waiting for the situational awareness thing to go off. But it didn't. You see I fired my torpedoes a bit of a scatter there. That's just because I wasn't sure this Congo was going to keep going full speed. I had a feeling it might stop and reverse at some point. It turns out the opposite happens, and it actually accelerates much faster, and the Congo is quite a fast ship if it wants to be. So my torpedoes go well behind it. It looks like the Mitsuki's still trying to fire torpedoes through that gap. Fire off another shot at the Congo. And so I really like this ship a lot better if it had 3 guns facing backwards and 1 facing forwards. But I am not a Japanese 1920s destroyer designer, so I don't really get to decide these things. That cruiser there is taking a beating. Well, it did run aground, so you've got to expect that. But it looks like this enemy battleship, a Fuso if I recall correctly, has gone into the enemy cap... well, it's not the enemy cap circle yet, it will be soon. Completely unsupported by its team. There is still... well, no, the enemy destroyers have all left. One's off harassing our battleships, and the other one's down firing torpedoes at this cruiser behind me. So it's going to be me and this battleship all by itself. I mean, it's got full health, but I've got stealth and torpedoes, so it should be a pretty even fight. And really the advantage should be to me. But as I say, they've got the annoying habit of accelerating and decelerating and reversing kind of at random, these battleships. So I saw it was accelerating, fired in front of it, and as soon as I do I see, nope, now it's actually slowing down. So I'm expecting my torpedoes to miss here. Well, maybe it seems to have stopped slowing down, maybe it's starting to speed back up again. They look kind of close. Now it's slowing down again, or properly slowing down. Can't quite get a decent angle to see what my leftmost torpedo is doing there. Missed. No, it hit. One hit. 10,000 damage. Good thing about these, they've got the same torpedoes as the Kamikaze, so they do a lot of damage with a hit. So even in this game I've only got 2 hits, but that would still be 20,000 damage from a ship with only 11,000 hit points, so you know I've done my share here. Fire for another broadside at the battleship while it's reversing. Again I decide it's probably going to go forward, so I actually basically aimed directly at it. But turns out I probably didn't aim far enough forward, as it kind of starts turning into me a bit and accelerating fairly rapidly. And this time my torpedoes go behind it, which is frustrating. It's kind of a bit of a stupid defensive tactic, but it is effective. I can't argue with that. It's just I would prefer to, if I was in the Fuso, I've gone around the corner already and started engaging my allied ships. But, well, it's working for this guy, so can't complain too much. I decide now that since it should have a clear line of fire onto at least my allied destroyer, it's probably going to start sailing in a straight line, so I'm safe to aim directly at where it's going. And of course, that means that it turns and starts running away from my ally, so my torpedoes are going to miss again. And now a Cleveland-class destroyer, cruisers come and join this Fuso, which makes life a lot more difficult for me. I mean, my torpedoes aren't even close. So I come around this island. My allied destroyer is no longer spotting the enemy for me, but I'm expecting the Cleveland to be within torpedo range, and it is. Actually, it's very close to spotting me. But I swing my ship away from it a bit, fire off my torpedoes when they become ready. No, I only fired 2. I decided I want to get away and get my smoke screen up because it's clearly spotted me. I have to fix my engine because I don't have the skill to make my engines keep working after it's destroyed. fire off 2 more torpedoes at the Cleveland now that I have a good idea of the course it's going to take. And of course, that's when the enemy Mutsuki from earlier pops back up. And, well, I've used up all my smoke screens. I've just been set on fire and I can't use my repair ability. I've used all my torpedoes. And I'm at close range with an enemy destroyer. So this isn't looking good. But I do have fairly decent guns. Mutsuki's trying to stay bow onto me to minimise its profile. Well, I got a hit on that Cleveland, which is very good. But my guns are actually able to keep up with it. I get my torpedoes reloaded just in time, get 1 hit. And it doesn't look like the Mutsuki's torpedo traverse time could actually keep up with our manoeuvres then. And now its guns and its torpedoes are all facing the wrong way, and I'm able to put 2 salvos into it unopposed and get the kill there. And the destroyer fires its torpedoes, which is bad for me because I have to turn broadside onto the Clevelands, which results in my death. So I suppose the Mutsuki had its revenge in the end, but I probably wasn't going to live that much longer anyway, not within 5 kilometres of a Cleveland. And well, let's just see how this game ends. We're actually well ahead on points because I went and captured B early, and my team managed to prevent the enemy from capturing A for a long time. But basically it's turned into a series of 1-on-1 engagements with this low health battleship fighting my allied low health destroyer here, with a bit of support from the Cleveland firing in from the rear. Destroyer's swinging around to try and get its, well, I thought it was swinging around to try and get its second side of torpedoes at the enemy, but gets a bit unlucky here, takes a battleship shell, and that one's dead. And over here we have my team's low health battleship fighting the enemy's low health destroyer. And that fight, the low health destroyer wins. So unfortunately that's a loss for us, an unfortunate battle for me, so I lose my star. Luckily I stay at rank 17, it was only my second ranked battle of this season. 12 shell hits, 4 torpedo hits, sunk 1 enemy ship, a tier 6 destroyer. Best of my team, doubled almost the experience of the next best person on my team. So yeah, I was probably carrying that game a bit too hard in retrospect. Yeah, it happens. Did 55,000 damage, 4 torpedo hits, 40,000 damage. Basically, one on every ship I managed to hit. 1 on the Congo, 1 on the Fuso, 1 on the Cleveland, and 1 on the Mutsuki. And a little bit of experience and credits, even though I lost. But I do get the 30% credit experience bonus, so that's very nice. And I used that 30% experience to get situational awareness on my captain, because why wouldn't you? It's really necessary for Japanese destroyers in particular. And you can have a quick look at the stats here if you want. You could pause the video, but I am quitting the game because I'd had enough after that battle. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Well, you can't really get the Kamikaze R now because the Kamikaze R mission is finished. The Fujin on the North American server is basically the same ship, but with a different, worse in my opinion, camouflage paint thing. At some point they will release the regular Kamikaze, I assume, as a premium ship you could buy. And to be honest, if you like the Kamikaze, you may as well buy it, because it's a very similar ship and it will be very good for training up your Japanese destroyer captains in particular. And I mean, yeah, basically it's just another Kamikaze, few differences, but plays substantially the same. So I hope you're all looking forward to it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.